So it should.
Not Pamela. Is this Alice?
Hi, Sister B.
Yes.
So Sister
Let me
Bruce,
go to so I can see who's talking to me.
I can't hear you yet.
Becky, Sister Becky.
I always forget about my camera.
I can't hear you either, Debbie.
You can't hear me?
Maybe it's mine.
can you hear me, Debbie?
I can hear you, Ella.
All right.
Yeah, Dorothea.
Got it. It was my computer. I was like, I can't do this. I can't teach this class. So
Teaching, are you?
hi, Sister B.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Good. It's good to see you.
Yes, good to see all of you.
I know it. Nice to finally see some good faces here.
Sister Nallard? Did that was turned off. Okay. So we're gonna learn about indexing.
We are. Are you ready to learn?
I am.
Yes, I'm definitely.
Sister Van Camp, how is it going over there?
You know, it's going pretty well. I am completely content to be in my apartment. I think I'm part hermit and I'm loving it.
No.
I have a little bit of that in me too.
Yes,
It
sometimes
doesn't
we
bother me at
do.
all to be in my apartment. We go out once a day for a 35-minute walk and come back to our apartments.
Oh, yeah.
Other than running to the store, which I do rarely because I don't like wearing a mask. I go as few times as I have to.
So you have a companion with you, yeah?
No, we do not have companions. Senior sisters
Oh.
do not have companions. I do have a friend who lives next door. We have assigned ourselves self-appointed companions. We do everything together. We're the only two sisters, only two people on the floor in our building. There are 6 apartments, but the other 4 are empty.
Oh, wow.
Just the 2 of us. We have the whole floor to ourselves, and we are loving it.
Oh, you guys can throw a party.
Sometimes we just leave the doors open and run back and forth.
Nice.
Double our living space.
Oh, that's so nice.
So yeah, we're enjoying it quite a bit.
That's good. What's the weather like there?
It snowed a little bit today, but maybe a half an inch. We don't
Oh,
get much snow. There's not much snow here at all. They always say it's a 100% chance, but that's all up in the mountains.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you know that we're getting hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah. So it's been, so, you know, I know most people who have lived here have, you know, seen this before, but, you know, we had lived in Charleston for 10 years. And before that, I don't really remember because I was young. And now I'm like, this is the most snow that we've gotten since we moved here. That's for sure.
There were many years when we moved.
Yeah, we've been spoiled for several years.
We have.
Even the natives are grumbling, you know?
Yeah. We really have.
It's not that horrible, but it's, you know, it's like, you only want to do so much shoveling. Like the first couple times it's like, okay, the shoveling's fine, whatever. But you know, the 5th or 6th time, you're kind of like, kind of done with this.
I was fortunate that after Doug passed away, I had a neighbor and they would try to beat the other one.
Oh, that's so nice.
I didn't have to shovel very often.
Our neighbor, he has a snow blower, and he will sometimes come and like shovel like the sidewalk for us, kind of get us like down the driveway where the snow plows have kind of like engulfed us. But yeah, it's good. It's fine. You should be coming home soon, yeah, or no?
June 24th is my last day.
Oh, wow.
Coming up on only 4 months left. I can't believe I've been here for 19 months.
That's crazy.
It went by so fast.
So do you plan Do you plan on moving back, or are you going to stay out that
I
way?
think
you
my
know?
plan is to sell my house to my son who's living in my house right now. And then I'll move back here. I think I would like to live in Cedar City. And I've never been there. I don't know what it looks like. But one of my best friend moved there with her husband in January. And the reason I started looking at that was partly because they're there, but also because there's a family history center there that's open 6 days a week. Unlike the Buffalo Grove one that's open maybe 3 hours a week by appointment. And it's like, I need more access to these records. You guys have me addicted now.
That's so nice though.
And they also have a temple right there in Cedar City. So everything I would need is right there. So, and it would be within a 5 or 10 minute drive. So it makes sense to do that, even though my kids, most of my grandkids live in Illinois, but I think that I still need to be out here. So
Yeah.
they're welcome to come visit anytime they want.
Good place to visit. That's right. So Sister Van Camp, do you want to start with like telling once we get started here, do you have anything you want me to introduce you by, or do you just kind of want to maybe say what you're doing right now and then go into it, or?
Oh, I can do that. I can
Okay.
tell what I'm working on for now.
Okay.
I've learned so much since I've been out here. It's been an amazing adventure.
Somebody else having a
Who
problem?
knew there was so much information out there online?
Right. Oh. I can only imagine. I was doing actually some research the other day, and I found something cool about my grandma had written. She had just written something, and she has all of her kids and all, like, I was mentioned in it, and
Oh wow!
I never knew that.
Was it in a family Bible or just something she wrote up?
I don't really know what it was exactly or why she did it, but I don't know. She's not necessarily very like computer savvy at all. So, and it was when I was just entering college too. So that was a long time ago. I mean, that was 22 years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Kind of,
You've been out of college that long? That can't be right.
Oh, I know, right? It can't be. I don't even want to say that.
Did you put that on Family Search?
Yeah, I did. I just put it on, but I haven't like gone in and like entered all of my tree yet, because I have like all of my tree information because of it. But it's there though, so I can just kind of scoot it over.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Where's the music coming from? Whose house?
Who, Lacey?
What's that?
What did you ask?
I said, where's the music coming from?
Oh, that's for me. I'm sharing my computer.
Oh.
It's a Spotify playlist. We had the Halloween activity, trick or treat. We had the Halloween party on Zoom.
Okay.
So I had to learn how to share sound. So now that I know how to do it, I do it all the time.
Well, I've learned how to do PowerPoint since I've been out here. It's pretty cool.
Hello.
It was a fun Halloween party too. You guys did really good with that.
Hi, Pamela. We can hear you, but you sound kind of muffled.
We can't see your face.
Yeah,
but
you
your
are
computer's up
too.
too
I'm
high.
having a difficult time hearing you.
Oh,
What'd she say?
she's having a difficult time hearing.
Oh, turn your sound up.
It's up as high as it'll go.
That was my problem.
You might want to try logging off and back in or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Your camera's also
No,
aimed at
Miss-
the ceiling.
Well,
Hi, Barbara.
I think we'll give it another 3 minutes and then we'll get started. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get a little time. People tend to get on a little late sometimes. You're muted, Barbara, if you're talking to us.
Your lips it's moving, but I can't hear you.
Ella, are you playing the piano?
No.
Yeah, that's me. I'm sitting here playing the piano.
Well, the way she's sitting, it looks like it could be her playing.
Yeah, it could be Ella, huh?
I actually get a chance to play the pipe organ in the Joseph Smith Memorial Building. So I've had to learn how to play the feet because there's no bass coupler on that organ like there is in the wards. I always cheated for all those years I played in the ward. I never used my feet. People thought I did because it sounded like it, but now I actually play the pedals.
The church I was raised in had a pipe organ with
Uh-huh.
like 4 or 5 keyboards
Mhm.
and the feet, and it was always, my piano teacher was actually the organist for the church,
Okay.
and he he was my piano teacher for like 8 years. And so one time he let me sit down there at the organ and then play around with it. I was old enough. I was like, what, 14 or something. So
Yeah.
he knew I wasn't going to mess it up. But that was like the biggest honor for me because I watched him for years play that organ. And I'm just like, I wonder what that is like.
Well, the keys on the one in the Joseph Smith Memorial Building are reverse color compared to what a piano is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the white keys are black and the black keys are white.
Oh, that's wild. I wonder why that is.
They didn't want to use ebony for the black keys.
Oh.
So they did something different with it instead. It was built in Canada. I don't know how old it is. I can't remember, but yeah. It doesn't bother me though, because I don't look at my hands.
Right. You don't look at your hands anyway when you play.
So it's fun.
Okay. Well, I think we should get started. Welcome, sister. I'm excited for this lesson today. It's been a long time in preparation for it. And Sister Ella told me that she had presented it just previously to this, right?
Yeah, I presented it a couple weeks ago on a Sunday about noon to another ward out here.
So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I would like, let's see, Sister LaRue, would you mind giving us an opening prayer?
Sure.
Thank you.
Father in heaven, we're thankful for this day. We're thankful that we live in an age of wonderful technologies so that even though we are in the middle of a pandemic, we can listen to each other and we can see each other and we can have sisterhood with one another and we can learn more about how to help everyone, both church members and non-church members, learn about their families and so that work can be done for them even though they are beyond the veil. We ask that the Spirit be here this evening, both with our sister who is teaching so that she may teach what she is impressed to teach, and for those of us who are learning that we may learn the things we need to learn so we can help this work go forward. Father, we ask that we reach out to our sisters that we minister to and our families, that we can share this information with them. We also ask that the pandemic be resolved in such a way so that our temple can be open. And not only can we do indexing, but then we can take the information we learn to the temple and do work for the dead. Father, we pray for our church leaders and that they may guide us according to thy will. And we pray these things in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, so thank you so much, Sister LaRue. So I'm going to give the time over to Sister Van Camp. But just a reminder, if you guys want, if you have a question, if you want to put it in the chat box, and I will, as she's speaking, I will, when there's open time, I will bring it up to her. And it's your time, Sister Van Camp.
Okay, thanks. She wanted me to let you know what I'm doing out here in Utah. I was assigned to the international floor of the Family History Library, and I was like totally shocked that they would put me there because I only speak English. I don't speak any foreign languages, and so I was surprised that they put me on the international floor. And but I have come to love it, and I've enjoyed learning how to research in multiple countries in multiple languages, and it's just been an amazing experience. And because I can now research in, I think, about 10 different languages, I've begun indexing in multiple languages just for variety. So it's been a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it quite a bit. I'm going to share my screen with you. I am assuming I have sharing privileges. Let's see here.
Give it a try. If it doesn't work, I'll make you a co-host.
Okay, we'll try it. Are you seeing that?
It's coming up, yeah.
Okay, so let me, let's see, I gotta. There, are you getting the full picture now? Or do you see my notes, or do you see the full slide?
The full slide.
Okay. Okay, so welcome to this indexing class that I was asked to do. I won't be able to see you guys while I do this because the pictures are all hidden on me. The First Presidency has told us indexing is vital. Our ancestors lived many years before we came here. Their lives created ancestral records. Those records need to be indexed so that we can discover our ancestors. Indexing makes those records searchable. I lost my mouse here, there we go. And searchable so that people can find their ancestors and then take those names to the temple. So indexing is really vital to family history work and temple work. So how do we get started? My goal is to show you through slides and demonstrations just how easy indexing is. First of all, you will go to familysearch.org and sign in. Notice that I put some of it in cursive and some of it in print because many of you in your questions said that you struggle to read cursive. And I can understand that because quite frankly, in the school districts, they don't teach cursive as much as they did when I was in school. It was pretty much pushed into our faces by the time we were in second grade, I think. But at any rate, so you sign in. When you do, this is the home page that you will see. You will notice that I am already signed in because my name is in the upper right-hand corner of the page. While in Family Search, if at any time you get lost, and you can always click on the Family Search logo and it will get you back to the home page so that you can start all over again and try to get to where you're trying to go. We're going to click on the question mark up here because I want to show you what's behind that question mark. There's a drop-down menu that has a lot of different things, but I want to take you to the Help Center because the Help Center has many icons that will take you through lots of learning that you can do. You'll notice that there's all kinds of icons back here that you can go to articles and read things. We're going to go to indexing. And when we go to indexing and we click on that, there are about 20 articles that will come up here that will answer just about any question you may have about indexing. So if you have a question, go to this spot and read some of these questions, or you can even put your own question in here as far as what you're trying to learn in indexing if you have a specific question. And you don't have to do the whole question, just put in keywords that you're looking for, and it will bring up the article to the top. Let's go back to the Family Search homepage. This time we're going to click on indexing. And when we do that, a drop-down menu will come up. And before we go to web indexing, I want to take you to the overview. For those who are brand new to indexing, who have not done very much of it, you will want to start here. And when you do that, there is a short video here. It's about a 3-minute video that will walk you through the process of indexing. We are not going to watch that video right now, but I just wanted you to know that it's there. When you index, you help connect families by typing up historical documents, such as this census that's sitting behind this, so that they can be published online and become searchable for others. These indexed records, as we index this name, it becomes a record hint for your ancestors. When you see these little blue squares on your homepage or on your tree, wherever you happen to be, if you see those blue boxes, those are record hints that the computer has generated from indexed records. And if you review and attach those, you're telling the computer, oh, you got that right. That is my ancestor. And if you attach that record to your tree, it will then tell, the computer will continue to work and look for more records that will match that kind of name. And even if it looks like a repeat or a duplicate record, like another birth record or another marriage record, attach it anyway, because it probably has a different URL. So to the computer, it's a different source. Even though the information in that record will probably be the same, you still want to attach it. So we're gonna go back to indexing again.
Mr. Van Camp,
Yes, go ahead.
there's a question here. It says, do our IDs get pulled for lack of use?
I don't think so. I don't think so. As long as you've got a sign in, I think it's good. I mean, recently they've had us change our password. We used to change it every 6 months, but now they've made it so that it's more of a permanent thing. So I don't think they would. I don't think they would disappear. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yes. I don't think they do either, because I think I indexed like last year, and then I just pulled it up recently and it was the same, but
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Because they've made it so that all of our church accounts use the same username and ID and password. So, you know,
Right.
if you've got a church account, it's going to be good.
okay, thanks. Oh, I was going to ask you, so when you attach, when you're saying attach that, what does that mean? Like attaching it to yours? Like,
when you click on those blue icons,
mhm.
I can show you when we go live, but
Okay.
When you click on those, it gives you a chance to review and attach it to see if it really does match the person in your tree.
Okay.
And if it does, then you get a chance to attach it.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to click on indexing, and instead of going to overview, this time we're going to go to web indexing. And when you click on web indexing, this is what you will see. It will bring up a page that has, in my case, these are my open batches. And like I said, I enjoy indexing in various languages. So I have like 6 or 7 different languages going at a time. And I just try to watch my due dates so that I can get them done before they take them back from me. Because some of them are only good for 3 days and some are good for a week. So I just try to look at which one is due first, and then I do that batch that day. But on the right is a summary of what you have indexed. And this is over, I don't know how many years, but I've indexed quite a bit. Down below, there are other progress things that I'm not going to show you that today, or not on this slide anyway, but we can do that when we go live as well. But you want to choose to find a batch, which is this blue button up here. And this is what you will see when it opens. It will, in this case, I've already got stuff marked. You want to make sure that you choose the right kind of activity. If you're indexing or reviewing, if you are new to indexing, you will not see the review button. You can only see the review button after you have indexed 1,000 records. That sounds like a lot, but if you do it, you know, so many a day or something, you get there pretty quickly. But so mine does show up because I've done lots of indexing. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you choose your difficulty level. I recommend that you choose beginning and intermediate, because if you choose just beginning because you're a beginner, you're not going to have very many choices of records to index. They're just not, there aren't that many of them. And the difficulty between beginning and intermediate is pretty much, they're very similar. So choose both, and that way you have more choices over here to choose from. And then you want to make sure you choose your language. There's, I don't know how many languages back here on this drop-down menu. I would guess probably 15 or 20 languages back here. But if you can speak another language or read another language, by all means, try to index in that language, because there are lots of records that need to be indexed in other countries. In this case, I just left it on English. I wanted to choose a record that I felt would be particularly easy for a beginner. And when you get into this time period of records, especially in the United States, they're going to be in English. And most likely they're on a typed printed form, which makes indexing a whole lot easier to start with. And so we are going to choose this Wisconsin marriage record, and we'll click on index there. When we click on index, this is what you will see. The first time you go in, the project instructions will pop right up for you to read. And it is so important to read all of those instructions the first time through anyway. After that, the only ones you really need, once you know the basics of indexing, which some of those are repeat instructions, once you know the basics, then you can move on to the part that says what to remember about this project. Those are the most important for the project you are working on at the time. They are very specific to that project, and so it's important to read those as well. Once you have done that, you're ready to answer the questions. You will notice that when I get in here, I have 2 images down here for this batch. The blue line around it tells me that that's the image that's big on my screen. Before you can start to type, you have to answer this question for each image in the batch. Should this image be indexed? And they're referring to this first one that's open down here. And when you answer yes, you're going to click on next image and answer that same question for the second one as well. Notice that we are in image 1 of 2 up here. The computer knows I only have 2 images in this batch, and we're on the first image. So when I click next, it will go to 2 of 2, and you have to answer that same question. Once you have done that for both of those images, and you click on next image, this is what you will see. Now you're ready to start typing. You've got your first image up here. We're image 1 of 2. We're also entry 1 of 1, because there's only 1 entry on this particular image. Sometimes there are multiple entries, like sometimes you end up with a book that might have 15 or 20 death records. And so you have to go through 15 entries in order to finish that first image. So it just depends on what's on your image. In this case, it's a birth record, and it's only 1 entry for this image. Once you put your cursor into this field, into that first field, this purple question mark comes up. That question mark will answer questions for that specific field. So if you have any questions on what are they really looking for in this state file number, I have no idea what they're looking for. If you click on that, it will come up with instructions for that particular field. It'll help you to figure out where that file number is located on these records so that you can type the right information in there. And the same thing is true for each and every field. Once you click in it, there will be a purple question mark that will tell you exactly what goes in it. It'll tell you how to do given names, what they're expecting in a surname. If they're looking for junior, they don't want juniors. They don't want, those instructions are in the main one, but there are specific things. And if you forgot what the instructions say, you can always go back and click on those question marks. So now yes.
We have a question. It says, why or what would make an image not be answered as a yes to?
Okay, I can demonstrate that when we get live, but it would be if it's blurry and you can't read it, it's unreadable. or if it's a duplicate. For instance, if I clicked on this first one and then I clicked on the second one and realized it's the same exact birth record, the second one would be marked as a duplicate. And
Okay.
you wouldn't index the second one then.
Okay. Thank you.
So there's various reasons. So now we've gotten into it where we can type. I have typed everything in the fields over here from this marriage record. And so once I've done that, then I'm ready to click on next image, and it will take me to the second image in my patch. So once I've done everything in the second image, then I can click on submit batch. And it will let you know if you've left anything out, if there's any issues with the batch. Like for instance, on some of the fields, it'll ask you to do Control B to put a blank because the information isn't there. And if you have forgotten to do that, it'll remind you when you try to submit it. It won't let you submit it until you get it right. And so some people have struggled with it won't let me do this. And I've got a couple of missionaries that used to serve with me at the Navy base that know that I'm serving here, and they call every now and said, I'm stuck on a batch again. I don't know what I did wrong, but it's not going anywhere. So in that case, I have them share their screen with me, share their batch with me so I can see what it looks like, and I can usually talk them through it and get them so that they can submit it. But so you'll notice that on this one, we are now on image 2 of 2, entry 1 of 1, and I've typed it all, so we're ready to submit it. And when you do that, prior to this screen, there's a little box that'll come up and tell you if you have any issues. But once you've successfully submitted it, you will see this thank you, and they will always ask you to give you the opportunity to choose a similar batch. So the similar batch would be another marriage record for Wisconsin. Otherwise, I have Nicaragua down here, but I strongly, strongly emphasize that it's better to pick a similar batch if you have that opportunity, because you've already read all the instructions. You've done it once or twice or 3 times. Each time you do it, it becomes easier and easier and faster because you know where to find the information on the records. And so it's important to stick to the similar batches. It just makes indexing so much easier and much quicker for you as you do it. And it's that easy. It's so important to do it. If you have on a Sunday afternoon for half an hour or an hour, do a little bit of indexing, you will be amazed at how much you can do. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever done reverse indexing? Has anybody ever heard of reverse indexing? I can't see everybody, so does anybody have their hand up, Sister Weidrich?
I don't see anybody.
You don't see anybody either?
Just correcting them.
Yeah, we only see 4
mistakes.
people.
Wait,
Is that
say that
anything
again?
like a reverse mortgage?
Has anybody done reverse indexing?
Get money back with that?
Nope.
I don't think anybody has.
Is it just correcting the mistakes of prior ones that need to have a second glance, or?
That's what reviewing is. That's what reviewing is. But no, reverse indexing is something totally different, and I will walk you through that. It's a good way to get your kids involved and to help teach them how to read cursive at the same time if they struggle with that. So this is where you'd mark on that similar batch. So if you do reverse indexing, you go to this website, which is Family History Technology Lab at byu.edu. And it's a chance to teach the computer how to read cursive. It's really kind of a fun and quick way to do indexing. And we'll go into that as I go live here. Let's see if I can get rid of this. Okay, so this is Family Search. So you can see I'm signed in here. This is the question mark I was telling you about. When you click on it, this drop down menu comes. There's a lot of things in here. To check
Sorry,
out.
Sister Van Camp. We aren't on the same page right now.
Oh, you don't see my family,
No, we're on Let's Go Live.
That I didn't disappear. Oh, hold on a second here. I took it down. I thought it would disappear. Let me just close it. Does that show it to you?
I see you now.
Oops, now, okay, now let me share my screen again. I guess it's gonna make me do it again. Now, can you see it? Can you see family search?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. So when you click on that question mark and you go down here, there's plenty of things to look at. Helper resources is a place if you're going to help someone else do their research, or there's lots of things to look in there with your family as well. But we're going to go to the help center, which is where I mentioned that you'd be able to see these little icons. These are just, there's just a ton of information behind each one of these. But when you go to that indexing one, this is where you find all those articles that will help you with indexing. So if after I'm done teaching and next week you can't remember what I said, you can go here and read articles about it, and it will definitely help you. Again, you can always go back to Family Search logo right over here, and you can click on that and it will always take you back to the home page. That's a good thing to remember. So when we go to indexing and overview, this is where that video was that you can get into. But we're going to go up here to web indexing. So down below here, there are charts and things that you can pull up about what you've done. You can change it. It'll show you what projects you've done and when you worked on them last, and just a variety of things down there. But and like I said, I have multiple ones open, but they're all in different languages just because for variety. So I just do that. But so we're going to go to find batches. Again, you want to make sure that you've got indexing up here. In my case, I have a choice to do either one. Beginning and intermediate is important. Now I've got this on French. So when I click on this down arrow, there's actually more than 20. There's quite a few different languages in there. So there's plenty to choose from, but you probably, if you don't know other languages, stick to English. And then pick a batch and go into it. Let's see, actually, I probably should go back and go in from the other direction here, because it's going to bring me a new batch, I think. Okay, so this is that project instructions that pops up. You want to make sure you read all this. When you go down here, how to index a birth record. If you click on that, it's going to show you exactly where to find all the information you need to answer all the questions. So it's important to look at those because it really is helpful to do that. Let's go back to here again. So once, oops, I should go back here again. Let me bring that back up. So once you've read those, this is what I was talking about. Remember what to do about this project. These are specific for this kind of batch. You'll want to read through those. It's important to do that. So I have to answer the question, should this image be indexed? If you click on that down arrow, it gives no a duplicate image or no extractable data. No extractable data means that it's illegible. You can't read it, or it might not even be one that's a birth record. So they're only doing birth records in this batch. So if it's something else, then you would answer no. But in this case, we know that it is, so we would stick to yes. When I click on next image, it moves to the next one. Answer the same question, and then you can go into typing up the document. And if you don't know what they're asking about, click on that down arrow. There's choices there. In this particular case, that's a certificate. The file number in this case is right up here. So if you type that in and hit enter, it takes you to the child's name. So you go through each one of these fields and notice that purple question mark comes up on each field as my cursor moves. There's a purple question mark there. So anytime you have a question, just click on that and it will clarify what they really are talking about there. If it's unknown, they tell you to do Control B to mark it as a blank field. And quite often they do. Sometimes on some batches, it'll tell you just to do tab and skip it, that you don't have to put a blank in there, but quite often it does require a blank. So I'm going to go back to my batches here. I want to open the one that I already had so that I can show you. There should be Wisconsin. So it must be this one. This was the one I think I had open earlier. Let's open that one up. This one should be already typed in, I think. Yeah, this is the one I already did. So I've already done, so if I click on, you can also change batches from down here by clicking on these. But when you're done typing everything in and you're at the bottom, you can just click on next image and it will go to that next batch. And once you're down at the bottom again, and I've typed all this stuff in already, I just haven't submitted it. So when I hit submit, it tells me there are no issues found and I can submit this batch. Once I submit it, that's when you get the little thank you and a chance to pick a similar batch. Okay. And so, like I said, it's important, I think, to stick to those similar batches. I did New Jersey naturalization records for 6 weeks, 2 to 3 hours a day. And it took me 6 weeks to get through all of them. I don't think anybody else was working on those batches because it took me a long time to get through them until I finally ran out of that kind of batch. And then I had to go pick a different one. But yeah, so it's really not very hard to do.
I like the confetti fanfare for it. It's a good touch.
What's that?
I like the confetti. After
yeah.
Indexing, they give you a fanfare, so I think that's appropriate.
Okay, so let's go back here. This is a new batch I just opened up, but let me explain a little bit up here. If you get into a batch, let's say it's cursive and you can't read the handwriting very well and it's like, I can't do this. It's just not happening. You can send that batch back by hitting this back arrow. It'll take you back to your page of batches. And if you want to send something back, I'm not going to send it back, but I'll show you how. You can click on manage, and then you can click on the one in front of the batch you want to send back, and it gives you a chance to return that one selected batch. If you have already started that batch, it'll just go into a pool where eventually it will come up for somebody else. But if you haven't touched that batch and haven't done anything with it, I just learned last week that it goes into a field of documents that after it's done it 3 times, somebody has to literally go back and pull it back out because it should be indexed because, you know, nobody started it. So let's go back here again. There was a couple other things I want to explain here. Up here, this is a submit button if you want to use that one. I always use the one at the bottom. If by chance you're on a batch that has multiple entries for the image, let's say there's 10 entries. This only says entry 1 of 1. So there's only one here, but down at the bottom, after you type up that first one, it gives you a chance to create a second entry so that you can then go on to the second entry on that image. So it gives you a chance to add additional entries. If by chance it comes up with entry 1 of 10 to start with, but you only need 2 because there aren't that many entries on your page, and you have to get rid of the extra ones, let's just say, let me just go ahead and, I'll just go ahead and add a couple of entries here so you can see what I'm talking about. So now I've got 3 of 3, 4 of 4.
That's an example of an extra entry. Like,
okay, so for instance, now I've got 3 of 4, I've got 1 of 4, but I really only need 1.
okay.
Okay, so if I start typing in the first one up here, I can go here so that I'm on 2 of 4. I can go up to the garbage can and click on that. It gives me a chance to delete all the blank entries that are there. And in this case, there would be 3 because I really only need 1. So you click on all blank entries and it will delete them. And I'm back to 1 of 1. Does that make sense?
I think my question is like, what is extra that would entail as another entry?
Okay, let me go
Like
back.
there's multiple names that you don't have enough lines for?
Yes, if there's multiple names, let me open up one of these others
Like
I've
if they're
got.
looking for a child's name and there's 2 children, then you do 2 entries or?
Yeah, well, usually they'll fill out a different certificate if there are 2 kids.
Yeah.
Let me go to, this will be in a different language, but let me open up this batch and see what it looks like. I think this one has multiple ones. Okay, so I'm going to answer the questions here of yes, these are ones that need to be indexed. But as you'll notice, and I'm actually reviewing this, so it's already filled out. You will notice that there's 1, there's another record, number 2, there's another record, number 3. And so it is one of 3 that I'm on right here. So
on the same page. Okay.
On the same image,
That makes
yes.
more sense. Okay.
On the same image, yes. So then you would go through and do each of those. Sometimes on one image, I've done death records in Sweden where I had probably 30 lines on one page, and I had to add so I could get up to 30 to get it done. And so it's just, and actually it was actually a 2-page thing. So in order to get both pages done, I think I had 60 entries to get them both done. So it's just different things like that that will cause you to have to add entries or delete them if you've got more than you need. So let me go back to that English one. I wanted to go back to, let me open this one back up again. So there's also up here, if you have trouble reading some of the letters, the cursive, there are letter helps up here where you can click on this and it gives you sample letters of the way they wrote back in some of these, especially older records. These aren't as bad because a lot of it, I think you can probably read. If you're in a language, some of the records in like Wisconsin, they might have German on their records instead of, or Danish, because they came from a different country. And sometimes they need special international characters within a name. So if you have your cursor in there, and let's say you need to put a capital O with an accent mark on it, you just click on it in this character chart and it puts it in there for you. If you don't use this, when you need to do it, there are some numerical codes that you can do in with an Alt key, but it doesn't work in this particular program. So you have to actually use this chart. So those are both helps that will, and this will also get you back to the project instructions again. Anyone have any questions? These here give you a chance to, if the image is needs to be turned, you can click on it and it'll turn it for you. Or if it's too dark, you can change the contrast so that you can get it to, because some records are really hard to read because you just can't see them very well. You can change the color or contrast and it kind of brightens up the handwriting and stuff on them. You can reverse your image if you prefer to have white lettering instead of black on yellow or whatever. If that's easier for you to read, you can reverse that. If you reading something or if you have a record that goes from one page to the next, you can pull up that next page by clicking on this. These two in the middle here are my batch. I can go and click on the one that's right behind it to see if maybe there's a date on there that's, in this case, you wouldn't use it because these are individual certificates. But sometimes you have to go to the before or after your batch to get the date or the year. And so sometimes it's helpful to pull those up. They don't want you to index from here, but it sometimes helps you to get the date. And you can also make them bigger or smaller. But I think that's all my my comments on that. Does anyone have any other questions? If not, we'll go to reverse indexing to show you what that is. You go to fhtl.byu.edu. And on this page, there's a lot of fun things. You'll want to come here and especially with your kids and try different things. Over here, there's a bunch of games that you can play with your kids. Ancestor games is a fun thing to do. I'll just show you this really quick. And they'll usually ask you to sign in if you're not. I think I am signed in, so it should be fine. Nope, doesn't want me to sign in.
Is this product owned by the church or by Family Search?
This is a technology lab that's run at BYU. But the reason they have you sign in is because it pulls the questions from your family tree. So it's a chance to get your kids involved with a little bit of your family history. This matching game, I'll just do an easy one, the 4x2 here. It's like the memory game that your kids have played, except there's pictures behind there. Oh, there's my husband. I wasn't expecting that.
I miss him.
And you try to match him. And when you do, it tells you the name of that person. So you can teach your kids who some of the people are in your tree.
That's pretty cool.
There he is. So it's just kind of a fun little game that you can play with your kids.
What if you don't have pictures?
It'll only pull the ones that have pictures, whether it's tombstones or facial pictures.
I have to learn how to add a picture.
It's not hard. I can teach you how to do that. But anyway, we want to go down here to reverse indexing. The Genealogy is like Jeopardy, only they use questions from your own family tree. And you can choose how many generations you want it to include from your tree. Wheel of Family Fortune is like Wheel of Fortune, except it's from your own tree. And those are both kind of fun if you choose a team in your family and you can even let them look at their tree while they're playing so that they can try to find the answers. But anyway, we're going to go down to reverse indexing. When we go here, and this is something that would be so easy for your kids to do. Let's do, we'll do Dorothea B's last name. An easy one that we should be able to read. So the computer comes up with 12 possibilities of the name B. Clearly this is not right. There's an extra letter there. That doesn't even look like an A to me. So you click on it and you tell the computer, nope, that's wrong. That's not even close. It's got too many letters. This one's got an RS at the end. This one's got a D or an N. There's bean, another bean. That one's wrong. Computer's not had this name in here, I don't think.
No.
It's got a couple of them right. This one, well, that one looks like beg. It's got a G at the end. So there's two of them that are right. So you hit submit and it'll ask you, are you sure? I always click on that because then it'll quit asking. And you submit it and then it will come up with 12 more. And so it's a way to do reverse indexing. You're teaching the computer how to read cursive. So these both look right. That one's got an L, that one's got an N, an L.
That second one looks like bed, not B.
Yep. Bales, there's a lot of them that are wrong on here. They got a couple right. They got this time. So you submit it. And so you can do that and you can put, it's nice to put in your own surname. So because you know what your name should look like when it's written in cursive. Those look like they're all correct to me.
Now, what if your family name, like mine, sometimes they spell it CK and a lot of times it's CH.
Okay, they will do, you're looking to match whatever you type up in the left corner.
Oh, okay.
So if I type Narlock with a CK, that's what they should show me. You're trying to teach it. See, this one is an H. I would knock that out because I put a K up there. These are both Ks, 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 Ks. The rest of them are correct. So you're teaching the computer how to read cursive because they're trying to get the computer, they're working on a program at BYU to get the computer to be able to read census records.
Oh, cool.
So wouldn't that make it so much easier if the computer could index those records for us? By teaching it how to do this. So yeah, it's an interesting way. And if you're not used to reading cursive, this gives you a chance to see it written in a lot of different people's handwritings. And you can tell what a K looks like in cursive. This one is, that looks more like an H. It's almost a K, but I would call that an H.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not quite there. This one is definitely an H. I would not count that one. So it's just a fun way to teach the computer how to do that. So does anybody have any questions? I think I'm done with what I need to present to you, but if you have any other questions on Family Search.
I have a question on indexing, and I'm going to apologize in advance for saying this. So when I do indexing, I get bored in like 10 minutes. And as you're talking, I'm like, well, maybe I need to do it in a different language or something. But what do you suggest? Is there like something like that's going to stop that?
Well, what I did when the library first closed back on March 13th, and we became quarantined. We've been in our apartments for almost a year now, all by ourselves. I started, the very first thing I said as I walked out of the building, I said, well, I know there's lots and lots of indexing that can be done. And so I started indexing, and I told myself, I have a 10 o'clock class and a 1 o'clock class on Monday through Thursdays. And I said, I can index for 2 to 3 hours each day. And so I did that. And I just told myself I had to stick with it and do it. And like I said, if you stick with the same kind of batch, it makes it go so fast and you accomplish far more than you think you're going to accomplish. But now I would say the last 2 to 3 months, because I have progressed in my research ability in different countries, I thought, you know what? I need to keep indexing and try indexing in different languages just to see if I can remember what those major words are and I can find the information I need to put in these records. It takes me a little longer on the first one in a foreign language, but once I've done 2 or 3 of them, it's piece of cake. I can whip through them pretty fast because I know where to look on the record for the information I'm looking for. And the records I'm doing are pretty much all handwritten. And so you really have to read that handwriting, which makes it a little more interesting. But
Yeah, maybe I'll try it in a foreign language or something.
I mean, if you have any knowledge in a foreign language, I would say try it. Just make sure you read all the instructions.
Right.
So you know what they're looking for.
Are the instructions in English?
Yes, you can actually, let me show you that. There is a way to do that. If you go up here to batch, settings, you can choose the language you want it in. You can choose English or the project language. And I always choose the instructions, and this will give you the instructions in English then.
Okay.
And there's also this autocomplete thing. Sometimes when you're, if you're typing a lot that have like similar last names, there's like multiple ones on the page and there's similar last names, this surname thing will jump up until I realized this was here. And it would try to tell me what it thought I was typing. And then it would give you a drop-down menu. And if it was lighted up blue and you hit enter, it would put the wrong name in there and drove me crazy. And it's like, what is going on here? I finally called them and I said, how do I turn this thing off? So then I went into autocomplete and I said, turn off all fields. That way it doesn't try to fill in the field for me. I have to actually type the stuff in, which I think makes it easier. There's also, if you need a ruler, you can have a ruler on your page to help you see the lines that are going across. In a certificate like this, I don't need a ruler, but sometimes you're in a document that does help if you've got a ruler that keeps you straight across the page. So there's helps there. If you need to have somebody look at your batch because you're stuck and you can't figure out what you're doing, you can go up here to About Batch, and it gives you the batch ID. If you give that to a helper, like somebody from the stake who's a family history consultant, and you're asking their help on a batch, if you give them this number, they can open that same batch on their computer and see what you're doing. They can't change anything from their computer, but they can talk you through it. So that's helpful to know that there is that help out there, that if you need it, you can ask somebody to help you with their batch. If at any time, yes.
When you started doing other languages, seeing as you have any background in them, you just picked the language and just very slowly started going through it?
Well, I picked up the languages through my training as far as researching in different countries. We have a training pyramid that we go through as far as the levels of research in different countries. And I've been able to go through, I don't know how many I've got here. I think I've got Spanish, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, Finnish, German, Italian, Portuguese, Dutch, French. And I've done England and Wales and US and Canada. So I've done all of these at least through the intermediate level, and some of those I'm on the advanced level. So those classes, I'm in advanced German and advanced Spanish right now. And I only took Spanish in high school. I didn't take any other languages. But I can read the records well enough to find the information I'm looking for. And so I thought, if I can do that, I can index in that language, because they're asking me the same questions pretty much. So
Muy bien, Ella.
What's that?
Muy bien, Ella.
Yeah, muy bien.
Where did you get the language help things?
Where do you get the language help things?
What did it help you learn?
If you're into, let me open another window here. If you're in Family Search, I'm just going to go back into Family Search instead of opening that same one. I'll just do another one. One way to get language help is to go to Search and Research Wiki. Research Wiki has a ton of information in it. It didn't load for me. Let me try that. Oh, there it did. So you can put the country that you're indexing in. Let's say, let's do Germany. And you bring up Germany, and it has all these online records, but it also has a German genealogical word list. If you pull that up, it will give you the main words that you're going to need on any of those index records. It'll give you what the word birth is, burial, so that you can find those things. And you can do that in any country, and it'll bring up a word list for you. Another one that I use for translation is just Google Translate. If you've ever used that, Google Translate. If it'll come up.
Yeah, I've used Google Translate. Genealogy Wiki too. They're both really good.
Yeah, Google Translate. You can choose the language that you're trying to translate it from, and it'll let me do that. It's a little slow. It's got all these different languages that you can choose from, and you can choose to, like for instance, Spanish. Went down too far here. Or Swedish. If you choose Spanish, you can type in here what you're seeing. We'll do the muy bien that she just said. It tells me that it means very good. And so you can do that on those records as well. If you find a word that you're not sure what it means, you can type that word in here. This is really slow. It's not responding. I get that problem every now and then.
Blade is getting tired.
Yeah, it's getting tired.
It's Ella's computer. It probably had a long day.
My computer never gets turned off. if you look down here on my window, you can't see it. On this side, you might be able to. If I go down here to the bottom of my window, those are all the windows I have opened. And most of those have 20 to 30 windows within that opened. And those are just different places that I'm researching or I'm doing stuff. And that way I don't have to pull all those windows open again. But I typed up EHO up here, which means a child.
Right.
So you can do a lot of those with that, but you can also do them from the language, page as well on the wiki. So there's just a ton of stuff out there that helps with indexing.
Yeah, I use that. I have Dutch ancestry, and there's all these Netherlands
Yep.
records that you can access through Family Search, but obviously they're in Dutch. So I was able to use the wiki to translate.
Yep. Yeah, I actually do Dutch research and also indexing in Dutch. Because once you know where to find the information on the records, they're in the same place on all of them.
Right.
So it makes it easier to do. It's a little more challenging, but it's kind of fun. So anyway, I think that's all I have. I think we're running out of time here.
I certainly, for one, am ready to do some indexing.
I hope you do. I think it'd be a great thing.
That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to see you again.
Yep. It's a lot of fun. I just enjoy doing it. And I answer a lot of phone calls and emails from different missionaries who have questions either on that or on research, one or the other. And I'm in the middle of training a new missionary. We just got her last week and getting her through the training. So
they're going to die when you go home, even if it is just for a while.
I don't think I'm going to stay very long. But I don't know. It depends on how long it takes to get all the paperwork and everything done on my house and load up the truck and head back again, because I really think I need to be out here where I can continue what I've done for the last maybe 23 months by the time I'm done. So
well, it's so wonderful.
Yeah, but I enjoy it a lot. So
all right, well, I'm going to ask Mr. Narlock, do you mind giving us a closing?
Not at all. Father in heaven, we bow our heads and at the end of this class to thank thee for giving us the gift of Ella, for her incredible understanding of this part of the work in thy vineyard. We're grateful for her generosity in sharing her time and knowledge with us. And we pray, Father, that we will take what we have learned today, and even if it's just baby steps, that we will start to do some of this work a little by little. And as we grow and understand it better, we can do a better job for thee. Father, be with us throughout the remainder of this evening and this week. Keep us safe, protected from the weather and from any other harm. Be with those who are ill and trying to recuperate, that they will have thy spirit to be with them, to comfort them and strengthen them. And these things we pray for, Father, humbly, in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Don't forget to utilize the state.
Thank you, Sister Van Camp.
Thank you for letting me do this.
What were you saying, Sister Van Camp?
What's that?
Say there. Don't forget to utilize.
Don't forget to utilize the stake leaders that are in family history, because they can be a good resource to answer some questions on either family search or indexing, either one.
Absolutely.
But if you have a question and nobody can seem to answer it, feel free to reach out to me. I drop what I'm doing if my phone rings and somebody has a question.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. All
right.
Yeah, thank you.
right, sisters. Have a great one.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.